Verizon doesn't want you to see this video, but under consumer protection laws, I have the right to expose their false advertising and extremely poor call support. Here's what happened when I tried to get answers for the problems they started. I started my niche business well over 10 years ago when Sprint was around. Sprint was bought up by Verizon, in which I poured out my account information from Sprint to Verizon back in the year of 2018. Now, even though Verizon claims to have so much 5G coverage across the nation, I honestly cannot trust just one wireless provider. So I would have an alternative as a backup because in areas where Verizon dropped calls, my emergency provider would pick up. With that said, during the most recent month of June of the weekend of the 21st and 22nd, my emergency wireless provider was blowing up more than it should have. Without understanding why, I make a call to the Verizon call support center to try to understand what's wrong with my device. Now, my device I purchased from a local retail store that's a half hour away on July 20th, 2023. According to the call center, they believe my Pixel 7, the SIMS card, is fried. They instruct me to go to a corporate store location in order to get a free card installed or further assistance. They told me if I went to the retail store that I got my device from, they were likely going to charge me $35. To avoid this fee, I went ahead and made the commute an hour away to the local Verizon corporate store to figure out what's wrong with my Pixel 7 device, as one employee took my device to try to install a new physical SIM card and an eSIM card. The corporate store manager, with my identification, struggled to find my account with Verizon. And when they did, they immediately said Verizon misclassified my account and I was being charged over $50 a month. Verizon misclassified my account and was overcharging it $50 a month. This angered me internally, but yet the corporate store manager proceeded to say that I qualified for a phone upgrade. I was in no mood for a phone upgrade, and being furiously mad with this new discovery, according to the corporate store manager, that my account was being overcharged $50 a month. I did not want a new device. I'm not going to be stuck in another stupid installment plan where it seems like the device is programmed to fry or no longer work with them. So instead of going with a new device like they were trying to sell me on, I asked if I had an older phone that was Verizon, could I just reactivate that instead? They said yes. So I go ahead and return home to pick up my Pixel 5 phone, and instead of returning to the same corporate store I visited, I went to another location in the opposite direction. Without telling them a single thing that corporate store number 1 told me, I told corporate store number 2 what call support told me about bringing in my Pixel 7 device to see if I could get a new SIMS card installed or an eSIM. With that, if it didn't work, I had with me my Pixel 5 just in case. At this corporate store number 2, one assistant took my device to try to install new SIMs card. The corporate store manager, trying to find my account, says the same thing the first store did. My account was misclassified and I was being overcharged $50 a month. Even more mad than the first store, a second store confirmed this. So instead of sitting there with no reception whatsoever, there was a competitor walking distance across the street. I told them the situation and I was sold on the new competitor and their service. Now keep in mind, I am not saying anything about anyone else other than Verizon, because my story is about Verizon and how they are handling my case. In order to transfer my account, my business phone number to my new provider, I had to get my account number and a port-out code from Verizon. So as I sat in the lobby of this soon-to-be new cellular provider, I called call support to try to get this information. In all my years of calling call support, it is always the same soft-spoken Philippine accent that talks in cursive, to where I struggle to hear them. I don't have any kind of hearing issue, so every time I call and talk to them, I have to have the live transcript on too. Now, when I tried to get my information from call support, they jacked me around for 15 minutes, just leaving me on hold, not doing anything about it. So instead of being on hold, I decided to return to corporate store number 2, show them my ID, and get the needed information immediately so I can activate my new device, my new account with the company. So I can activate my new device and my new account with my new provider, because I had had enough of Verizon and their lies. At the corporate store, it took them less than 5 minutes to get me the information I needed, where call support was just jacking me around and leaving me hanging. When I ported out the information, according to my new provider, they said it could take up to 3 hours for the phone number to truly transfer over onto the new device. Well, little did I know it was going to be more than 3 hours. Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. It turns out Verizon gave me the wrong information. They gave me somebody else's account number and port-out code. So to the Verizon user with the last 4 digits 9010, I apologize for your services being interrupted because Verizon is working in an unethical method. With this being a problem, I went back to my new corporate store cellular provider, told them the situation. Once again, I get on the phone with call support of Verizon. The same soft-spoken, talking cursive accents jacked me around, had me on hold when trying to explain that the port-out information they gave to me was completely wrong. As they had me on hold, they finally transferred my call over to someone that had more enunciated, clear-spoken English with a British accent. This is the first time in all my years with Verizon I could hear someone clearly without the live transcript. Explained to them the situation that I needed to port out my business phone line, and Verizon failed to do it properly on Monday, June 23rd, 2025. Now, Verizon, in my experience, cannot be trusted, no matter how many times I tried to call them on a number of different situations and circumstances. But luckily, this individual with the British accent, in less than 10 minutes, was able to accomplish what the call center, low-salary individuals could not, as well as the corporate store I had left that Monday with what I thought was the proper information. Now, for years, Verizon has claimed that they have this 5G coverage all across the nation, but in that little search bar, when I put in my address and would zoom in, I told them that I was constantly on my phone device only being shown emergency calls only, 4G, LTE, 1 bar, which means for the coverage map, it's a complete lie. When I call call support, they would say just put the device on Wi-Fi calling and everything would be fine. This was a complete lie. For anybody that needs reliable cellular support as well as the connections, my Ethernet PC would notify me faster than the Verizon Wi-Fi did. I'd get an email on my computer and my phone device would only notify me 8 to nearly 13 minutes later. There's nothing wrong with my Wi-Fi. It was something wrong with Verizon and their cellular device. Now, because Verizon had already screwed up the port out code and information for my account, I constantly called them from June 25th to 4th of July to stop the auto pay, start the paper billing, then terminate my phone line. Now, when they asked me the reason why I wanted to terminate my phone line, I told them that sounds like feedback that you can't spell without fee, and I was going to charge Verizon $100,000 for 15 minutes of my time since they constantly wasted mine. Of course, the call center laughed at me a little bit, and that's fine. I'm the one that's laughing because I'm exposing them for their false advertising and their unethical treatment. I received no email notification about my paper billing, no email notification about my account being terminated, and nothing about the auto pay being eliminated. On July 7th, 2025, I get an email from Verizon saying they stole money from me. Well, according to them, it wasn't stolen. They took an auto payment from me because apparently when I requested my port out code information, it only suspended my line temporarily. Beyond furious, on this day of July 7th, luckily I kept the call log written of each day I tried to contact Verizon so as to make sure they terminated my line, they stopped the auto pay, and started the paper billing. Because when I called this request, what was my final bill amount going to be now that I canceled my line, they were claiming I owed them $400. This was unheard of and really aggravated me. So I gathered my thoughts along with all the evidence I could for a few days. And luckily here in the States, we have organizations that help protect the consumers. On July 10th, I went ahead and made my complaint report with Better Business Bureau, my Attorney General, and all other consumer protection agencies. Because this needs to be heard by everybody so as to make sure the consumer is safe. Now, there were days when calling call support, they claimed that this call was being recorded for quality assurance. I would respond to them saying I assured them there's no quality at all, so they could record the call. Luckily, with all of our newer devices, we can record the call as well. When I said that, many of their call center agents would hang up on me. To my knowledge, recording is fair and fair both ways. If they're using it for quality assurance, as well as I need it for my own evidence for how they are unethically practicing their business. So I make a full complaint on July 10th with all these agencies, and I sit and wait. On July 13th, 2025, I get a response from somebody in Verizon claiming that they are going to help remedy the situation. They wanted to talk to me and they wanted a proper ID number so as to find my account. Well, clearly after trying the call support center time after time, I'm not talking to anybody ever again. Everything needs to be documented via email only, as well as to make sure I have evidence for Better Business Bureau and the other consumer protection agencies. I wait a couple more days, and I get a response from this individual on July 16th, claiming they looked at my account while taking a look at my complaint, made some adjustments to where I'm not paying $400, but an amount that is about half of what they claim. Now, in email form, I still don't trust what they say. I'm still waiting for my paper bills that have not been sent to me. On July 23rd, 2025, Verizon does their formal response to all the organizations as well as me by sending out a FedEx copy. Now, if they were able to send out a FedEx copy of this letter, I don't see why they couldn't print out a most recent adjusted bill to confirm the claims they were saying in the email. However, when I responded to the individual saying to FedEx my bill overnight so as to confirm that what you say to me is not a lie, they say they would be more than happy to FedEx it to me. They wanted to confirm my address so it would probably get to me by Friday. Now, with learning this information, it made me concerned about all my other PDF files that I had downloaded from Verizon. Now, I could never access my account alone or on the app from the phone. I would always have to call support for them to do something on their end to allow me access. And when they did, I would download the PDF files of what I thought was my bill. I went into this folder that had all the PDF bills I had downloaded, or so I thought. When I clicked on a few of them, I would get this pop-up window that said the file was corrupted. Are you sure you want to proceed further? Oh, absolutely not. I will not allow any more of Verizon's toxic behaviors to interfere with my business. Now, because I am a business account, I did try to reach out to Fox Investigation, and Fox Investigation will not protect entrepreneur businesses like myself, according to them. So since they have a limited scope, I need to be with the other consumer protection agencies like Better Business Bureau, Attorney General, FCC, and FTC. So I email to Verizon asking, how can I get access to all my bills prior, or print out all my bills going all the way back to 2018, so I have proof of everything and can see where these overcharges are that the corporate stores told me face to face. I sit and wait. July 27th, 2025, and I get a response from their headquarters, and they claim that they went through the email thread and did not find any offering of FedExing my bill to me. And along with that, they are denying the overcharges of nearly $3,600 to my account. And not to forget, besides just the account, they're claiming July 27th, 2025, and get a response once again from their claimed Verizon headquarters, but this time they are retracting their offer to FedEx my final bill, saying it's against their policies to print more than one every 30 days. They are ignoring and declining my complaint about the corporate store saying I was overcharged $50 a month, which would be nearly $3,600 I have been overcharged since the beginning of my account. According to this headquarters individual, they thought I activated my account March 21st of 2024. Since they gave me a specific date and I still have every email saved, I went into my email folder and found this particular date, where clearly somebody must have, without my consent or hacked into Verizon, tried to transfer my services. Now, I ignored this transfer service request because it did not come from me. But as you see, I also did make the email request to keep my paper bill of March 21st, 2024. Let's not forget, I did already go to a retail store to get a new device from them, and the device was picked up, as we see here, July 20th of 2023. I have already shown to you and told them I started my account with them back in 2018. Once again, Verizon is constantly trying to do lies with me, and I will not accept it. But because I ignored the transfer request, it did expire, as we see here for the screenshot I am sharing. My transfer request expired because I never requested it. I ignored it, and with ignoring it, it expired. Once again, Verizon is lying and something unethical is happening here. But with all this information, for July 27th, 2025, headquarters claim that I activated my account March 21st, 2024. That is nothing but a complete lie. Today's date is July 31st, 2025. My initial claim to Better Business Bureau is back on July 10th, 2025. This case will remain open until Verizon gets me a proper adjusted bill, pays me the overcharges of $3,600 a month due to the two different corporate store locations I visited. Now, that is hearsay evidence, but it was quite the motivation for me to leave the Verizon line services. As I remind you, they advertise to have a particular 5G coverage, but when I put in my address and zoomed right in, the nice little status bar at the top of all of our devices lets us know what our current service is, and with Verizon, If I did not have the Wi-Fi calling on, my device always said emergency calls only 4G LTE. The call support would claim they sent out technicians in order to see what the problem was. Never got a follow-up call. I would have to call them, and their excuse was to just turn on Wi-Fi calling. They didn't give me any other solution. So with today's date, July 31st, 2025, I'm curious if you, a Verizon consumer, business or personal, might be going through the same situation, and I welcome you to make the comments down below. And thank you for staying to the end of this video, because without Better Business Bureau being able to reach these headquarters of these bigger organizations, I would be out more money and my business credit probably could have been depleted. So to save my business and my integrity, I did give Verizon every chance to fix things. But because they chose to make it difficult and nearly hidden, I am going to share with you how you can get straight with them. I've had enough of the lies from big organizations like this, Better Business Bureau, FCC, FTC, and many others, including your Attorney General, should hear your consumer complaint, especially if you have evidence like me. So I encourage you to comment down below, because Verizon already did one class action settlement back in 2024. Something tells me there might be another one coming in the near future, but I admit I alone can't take them on, and I would encourage others to come forth with their consumer complaints about Verizon, because I'm not the only one that is being mistreated. So for those of you that are curious as who to reach out to with Verizon, because I had tried every avenue on every document I have with them from 2018, each upgraded device, and further need, call 1-800-779-2067, extension 222-0381. If you do not want to talk with them, but would like to give them a nice email giving them the further details, you can email them at CERSWEIXECUTIONS@VerizonWireless.com. That would be CCERSWE Executive Relations at VerizonWireless.com. I hope this helps you with your consumer complaints, and I hope they resolve it more quickly than they are with me, because right now they are doing nothing but dragging their feet and constantly giving me more red flags to let the Better Business Bureau and other organizations know how ethical they are treating consumers like you and me. At least me, for sure. If you are a consumer that's being mistreated by them, I encourage you to comment below, save this video, and share it with others, because this is the most recent complaint you'll be hearing from anybody, and I hope this helps you with your case immediately.